this is Cheryl from Star Garnet Stitchery. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today I have a floss tube for you, and I know that I have been gone for a little while. I was in Arizona. Thank you for everybody who said prayers for me, my family, and my mom. In my last video, I explained, that I was having to go and take care of her, and my sister is still there, but I needed to come home and take care of some things here, so I might go back again. But while I was there, I did celebrate a birthday. So in this video, we're going to talk about, okay, let's see what I have. I have finish, I think 3 WIPS. I read lots of books. Well, by lots of books, I mean, I averaged about a book a week. Also, if you hear barking and stuff, all of my windows are open. It's actually beautiful outside. These are my Easter flower bouquet from my family. Yeah, so I celebrated a birthday, so I got birthday things. I got regular haul. The last of my market stuff came in. I have WIPS. I have a finish. So I have a lot. So this one might be a little bit long, so because it's been over a month and I have a lot to share. I will keep the book stuff probably till the end, just in case you're not interested in like book talk. And I should probably, yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Also, a word of note for everybody, while I was in Arizona, my giveaway did complete. So I did drop a community post with my winners, and I also posted it on Instagram, and I've already contacted the winners. One of them is local to me, so I am able to actually give it to them in person. And then the other person, I am going to be mailing it tomorrow. So by the time you actually see this, it will have already been mailed. So I appreciate everybody for commenting and joining in the giveaway, because like, I know my channel's small, so I really appreciate everybody who took the time to comment and to share their favorite things and to subscribe and all of that. I really do appreciate it a lot. So yeah, but let's get into it. So my book of days, so this is my book of days for this year. And let's see, when I filmed last was on the 16th of March. So this is what March looked like. I've been really bad about decorating my book of days, but this is my April. So today is, April 21st. So the day after Easter. So I hope everybody had a good Easter Sunday. Mine was very quiet at home with my kids and my husband and my dog, and we had fun time and we ate some food, and it was really, really nice to spend a stress-free holiday with them and just hang out. And we watched a movie and we watched some Harry Potter, and it was really nice. So all right, so let's see, let's get into my, let's do my WIPS first. Okay, so when I filmed last, I was currently stitching. I had a Lenten stitch. I have a whole box of stuff right here, so I'm going to be pulling things out of this as things drop. Okay, so this was my Lenten stitch, Jesus the True Vine by New York Dreamer. And I stitched this on 36 count vintage country mocha using the called for threads. It has been folded up because I had to get everything home in suitcases. So I will obviously press this before it goes and get a frame and all that business, but I do have a finish, so I apologize for the wrinkles. It makes it not so pretty, but if you follow my Instagram, you will have seen this right after I finished it. So you can kind of see that there. And this was such a joy to stitch. I do have a mistake somewhere and I don't know exactly where it is. So it's supposed to be a square design. but it's not, barely, by like a stitch or two, but no one's gonna care. I don't care. Jesus doesn't care. I'm really looking forward to getting this one framed. I haven't decided if I'm going to go to my local frame shop or if I'm going to just get a frame made over at Hobby Lobby, and then I'll just, like, you know, do it myself, do all the business. So that is my finish for, technically I finished, let's see, I started it on Ash Wednesday, which was March 5th, and I finished Jesus the True Vine on April 2nd. So I finished it almost, it took less than a month. And for me, I don't finish things very often. So I just worked on this. I turned and burned, and I was really inspired by it. And I was watching The Chosen while I was stitching it when I was at my mom's. And it was a joy to stitch. It's a beautiful design. So Jesus the True Vine. So that is my finish for this, for, I guess you would say, for March/April. I don't know. So that is that one. Put that there so I remember I need to, like, you know, get it framed and stuff. I actually was telling my husband that I have quite a stack of things that I either need to frame or FFO, so like fully finish. So yeah, I'm gonna be spending time doing that. So the next thing that I decided to focus on, sorry if that shook the table, I am currently working on a piece for my niece who is going to be graduating high school in June. I have it in this bag made by Bella Rose Needleworks. I am stitching Virgo by Nora Corbett. It's a Nora Corbett design. It's NC 333. And I am really just enjoying this. I decided after I finished Jesus the True Vine, I would just pick a stitch, even though I brought a ton of cross stitch with me. I mean, I had an entire suitcase of just cross stitch. That's kind of excessive and crazy, but I guess not really if you are also bringing home gifts. So never mind. It's not crazy, but, so this is where it looks right now. Now I am stitching this on a 32 count, even weave Murano by Zweigart that I over dyed myself. And I'm using the called for threads, 2/2, except for where noted. So here I've already done the back stitching. Let me get the board so that way it blocks. It was on a Q-snap when I was at my mom's, but I have since put it onto a scroll rod because I'm going to start beading soon. And that way I can just bead and roll, okay? So basically what I did was I had pretty much all of this done. I've had her head into her neck done. And I had started working down here in her chest. And then, so let me roll it up a little bit so you can see. Then I got out the Krennic and I started, like, after I finished her shoulders and her hands, which I still need to backstitch, but I needed to do certain things first before I can backstitch. So these are hands right here. And once I backstitch, it'll obviously be obvious that they're hands. And so I got all the way down to the bottom of the design where the frame is. So all of these designs have some kind of frame. So I am literally at that bottom part there. So what my plan is to start working my way up like this. I still have one butterfly to add over here, and there's a little bit of silk inside these holes on the wings. And yeah, so I'm really enjoying this, and I'm going to be focusing on this probably soon, like within probably starting tomorrow, I would say. So that's where I'm at. I know that looks like nothing, but that's where I'm at currently. And I'm really liking this stitch. It's really, really pretty. I have decided I'm probably going to stitch it again, but I'm going to do a color conversion. And I think I kind of touched on that in a previous video, but I'll share more once I actually do it, because it's going to take a lot of figuring out first before I do that. So making sure all of my stuff gets back in the bag. So yes, so that is the other WIP I worked on. There's one more WIP. No, two more WIPs. So I have been working on the the wordplay series by With Thy Needle and Thread. And so I'm currently stitching on April. Also, if you hear chewing noises or anything like that, it's my dog. My husband took the boys to their baseball practice situation. Oh, there's my wax. Here it is. Found it. Okay, so I also, since I'm stitching these, I have all the colors that I use for these charts, because sometimes there's overlap between charts. So I'm just keeping them all on a ring. But I am stitching mine on, what is this? 36 count linen in the color Winter Mint by Atomic Ranch. I had a fat 1/8 of this, like a cut of it. So it's kind of like a green. There's a truck coming. But yeah, you can kind of see from here, it's like a minty green color. And it's in the Q-Snap Crooked, because I'm awesome. So basically, I don't remember when I actually started this. I think I started it before in my last video. Like, I think I had done, you know, eggs or daffodils or something. I did something. Funny story though, I think I started with the word daffodils, because I think that's center. And I have a mistake in that word. So I have to remember that I cannot count off of this word. So I had to do these, and then I did this, and then I did this. And then I came down and I did peeps to get to April, and then I did rain and the bird, and then I started the daffodils. So you'll see here that there is a bee skep, and it's really glary, sorry. Bee skep and some daffodils. And then I will be counting off of Pussy Willows to do the next words, which is jelly beans, which is this, like, looks like it's like a break in the center. And then I'll be just doing like the bunny. So I am trying to get this one finished. I don't have the next charts or threads for it, because a lot of these charts, they're all stitched in Gentle Art threads, and the color Walnut is a unicorn right now. If you are in the cross stitch scene and you stitch with Gentle Art, you know that there is always going to be one color in a given year that is a unicorn, and then it is out of stock everywhere. You cannot find it. It is gone. And then all of a sudden it comes in full abundance and it floods the market, and everyone buys many skeins of it because they're afraid it's going to go out of stock again. And that literally happens all the time. So, but yeah, so anywhoosies, so April wordplay, I should be finishing this soonish. If I just work on this, then I will finish it quickly, probably within the next week, maybe less. But it just depends how much time I have to actually stitch. Tomorrow we have some baseball games that are away, so I might have time before the game starts or whatever. We'll see. But yeah, so I don't have the other charts though, so I might actually take a break from these and stitch some other charts that I want to get started or finished this year that have been WIPs for a long time. I might pause these and like pick it back up later, and then just, you know, do a couple months ahead so that I can just keep cranking them out like I have been. And then I'm also in the market for some kind of a basket or something that has a lid, you know, like a picnic basket or like a basket you put on a bike. or something like that, that I can stick the charts for the month, like the one that I'm not using, in the basket, so it's cute and they're all contained, because right now I have them just kind of floating. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments, because you know, if you stitch these and you have them as like a hard finish, that might be interesting. Or I might end up just like scrapping that whole plan and just doing like a decorative box somewhere. My dog is being very interesting right now, and everything keeps falling, and I need to get in here to get my it's over there. I am a mess today. Can you tell? I thought I was all organized. Okay, so the other WIP and the only, because I didn't work on that much while I was at my mom's, but I did have some charts that, or one design that I use like on the airplane, or like if we were in the waiting room or something along those lines, where I didn't have a lot of arm room, but I was sitting there and I was bored waiting for my mom to finish doing whatever it is that she needed to be doing. So I am currently stitching on Talk to Me Goose by Dirty Annie Southern Style. I'm not using the called for color, which is Pea Pod by WIPS. I am using Blue Corn by Classic Colorworks. And I am stitching mine on 36 count Platinum by Weeks Dye Works. And last time you saw this, I think I had two me. That's all I had. I had two me and like these lines right here. These 3 lines. That's all I had before. And so just, you know, on airplanes or when I didn't feel like working on April, I would pull this out, because April is on a smaller Q snap. So it's not like it's an 11 by 11 where it's like huge and I'm like doing this kind of thing, you know what I mean? So anyways, so Talk to Me Goose. And I really need to keep this one out because this is actually a gift for my husband. He already knows about it, but like he doesn't know how far I am. I have it in this bag by Bella Rose Needleworks using its Tracy Kogut fabric. It's one of her vinyl front bags. Okay. So now I will talk about the last of my market haul. So I placed an order with Farm Girl Dry Goods. I can't wait to like actually stitch these things. That is my receipt. Not that I need it. It's not like I'm returning it. All right. So what do I have? I got Americana White, which, you know, I kind of talked about this in previous video, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but Americana White. I have all the other ones, Americana Red, Americana Blue. Now I have Americana White, and I love this one. It's got a church on it. It's got a Bible. It's got sewing basket. It's got a quilt. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Really bad glare. Sorry. Okay, so the next thing I got was Hop Into Spring by With a Needle and Thread. And I got it with the floss because I was intending to stitch this because I didn't know I was going to my mom's when I ordered this. So my plan was to literally start it. My husband said these were a gift, so I could start them now. And I plan to eventually get the Chantel 141 board. Hopefully, I might change my mind by the time I actually stitch this. Who knows? It's called for on Pyrite Linen by Cedar River Linens, but I might have another color in my stash that might work. Like I have some vellum by Picture This Plus 18 count that it might work. I don't know. I'll have to do a floss toss. Right? The floss toss. Okay, so I have Hop Into Spring. I have Liberty. So that's the pattern. Really glary. My dog keeps licking everything. Sorry if I keep moving that. I love this. Like, I even showed this. What are you doing, puppy? Sorry. Hi. No, you can't have this. Okay, I'll have to move it. No. I also got the floss, so I got it kitted. Now this calls for Tobias linen by Seraphim Fabrics, and I did order a piece of that. It's a really pretty color. It's washing out. Is it the color of my, no, it's darker. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dirty You by Dames of the Needle, kind of. I'll have to see if they're same, but they're probably same but different, right? And then the other thing I purchased was Dusty Road by Seraphim Fabrics in 36 count. So it's just a pretty color, and it is a called for color for the spring one that came out at Market with a needle and thread. So I just went ahead and placed the order for the linen at the same time. I might end up putting it in my stash and just using it. I don't know. So that is the last of my Market stuff. So now I guess, now I'm going to talk about my my Black Needle Society box that I had pre-ordered. It's I talked about it previously, and they might have stuff available on the vault, on the Black Needle Society vault. If you can't tell, I like boxes and kits. It's fun times. So it's called I Am a Custodian by the Black Needle Society. It is designed by Katie. I think this is designed by Katie. I feel like yeah, it's designed by Katie. Katie Landis, who's the owner of Black Needle Society. So, and I have it in this bag that was housing my Jesus the True Vine. And I am going to be stitching mine on blue in the color Cornflower 36 count by Fiber on a Whim, because the brown was too boring and I didn't like it. So, and then this is my floss, the floss that I purchased. So these are, let's see. So these are the flosses that I purchased. Let me separate them because these ones are later. So I purchased these ones. These are the called for on the pattern. Most of them are DMC. I made the tags using pretty gift tags from Michael's that I slapped some stickers on because I was at my mom's and I was bored. So I did that. Let me keep that out. And also in the box, there was a thing of soap that I no longer own. I gave it to my mom while I was there. So, cause it wasn't my smell, you know what I mean? It was nice. It smelled good, but it wasn't my thing. So, so if you are a Downton Abbey fan, basically what that means, what this box is it's the first 2 years. So like the first 2 seasons of the show. I have everything shoved in the bag that came with everything, because I had to get it home. So please hold, let me get some things out so it's not so weird looking. It came in a really cute box that was Downton Abbey colors, like blue. It was really nice, but I had to leave it in the recycle bin there. But so the one complaint I have about this box was the size of the project bag. The project bag is too small. It should have been at least this big, because it's one of those booklet type patterns that, you know, you need. It doesn't even fit the pattern. You know, that's the one complaint. Okay, so I'm going to get that complaint out of the way because that's the only thing I have that's a complaint. This bag is so amazing, like the artwork on it. Now, all books or all boxes, whether it's a monthly box or a retreat in a box, whatever, they all come with this spoiler pamphlet that is for the theme. Katie and Laura, they work really hard to make sure that each box is curated and it's like amazing. I used to be an affiliate with them when I had my old channel with Jeanette. We were affiliates, so I'm very familiar with how their boxes work. So if you have any questions, you know, you can always message me or email me. But obviously I'm no longer an affiliate because I don't have that channel anymore. But it came with this seasons 1 and 2. The retreat has already happened. Oh my gosh, I love this. Ugh. Okay. And it also came with this cute little zipper pull. Let me see if can you see that? It says, put that in your pipe and smoke it. So that is something that, I guess it'd be granny, what am I trying to say? Like the Dowager Countess, okay? So grandma, that's something she says, and it's hilarious because she has all the lines, okay, by the way. It also came with, everything kind of has a purple theme, and I think that's because Dame Maggie Smith, who is the actress behind the Dowager Countess, she passed away in 2024. So that was like really hard as a Potterhead and as a Downton Abbey fan. But so this is the needle minder. It's got a really big magnet, and they're strong too, you guys. Like, you have to like slide, you can't just pry it off. But because she always wears a cameo, especially in the first season. And it says on here, what is a weekend? Because that's something she says when Matthew comes to dinner. And then I elected to get 32 count linen. This is by Laura's Fabrics. This is pretty like purple lavender color. And this has a name. The Dowager's Hat Cross Stitch Fabric. So one of the most iconic pieces of costuming from the Downton series has to be the Dowager's purple cotton ball hat. So they went ahead and asked Laura from Laura's Fabrics to create a pretty purple that matched that theme. It's kind of weird and blowing out. It's more orchid. No, that's not the right color. Like lavender. It's like lavender. That's what the color is like. Okay, and then the next thing that came in the box was this cute waxer by Lady.Creates called Gwen's Typewriter. So it's a typewriter. How freaking cute is that? I have a mason jar up there. Also, from the last time you guys have been here, I've rearranged things because when I got home, I had to clean. Because the husband was busy doing all the other things to survive with 3 kids. So I also got this Lord Grantham's Custom Blend tea. It's a loose tea. This tea contains high levels of caffeine. So for this kind of tea, because it's a loose tea, you have to have one of those steeper things, which I do have. I have a few of them. And they also came with these Downton Village Flower Show scissors. So they're these, they look really sharp. I didn't use them because I didn't start my stitch because I was, you know, busy stitching other things. So it also came with some color and cotton floss. This color is like a brown called Great Britain Declares War on Germany. And then the next one is Spanish Flu Spreads Across Europe. It's a pretty dainty pink color. I'm not going to explain it if you haven't watched the show. I would highly recommend watching the show. Get past the first episode. Get past the first episode and then things start to happen. Titanic Disaster. And it's like a beautiful midnight blue color, like a night sky. And then this is kind of a spoiler name, so I don't want to say it, but it's a really pretty color. It's like a really pretty maroon. But it has to do with a certain Turkish ambassador. That's all I'll say about that. And then one of my favorite characters is Mrs. Patmore. She is the cook at Downton. And if you're familiar with the Black Needle Society, they had Gilmore Girls, and they had seasons of Gilmore Girls. And they had a cute book like this, a little recipe book that are recipes from the show. So this is one of those, but it's Downton Abbey themed, and it has all these different. I'm not gonna obviously show them because you'll probably be able to purchase them. So shooting party, park and cake and punch, Christmas pudding, category, Christmas pudding again because that's the end of it. Daisy's cheese souffle, Parmesan straws, Madeline's roast chicken, and all of these recipes have something to do with episodes in the first 2 seasons of Downton Abbey. So there will be 4 boxes total. So including this one, there will be 4 boxes total. And they are going to encompass 2 seasons each box plus the 2 movies. I am aware that there is a 3rd movie coming out this year, I think. Maybe next year. Don't remember. But maybe she'll add like a separate thing or have a separate kit or something like that. We don't know. But yeah, so that is kind of like a kit slash, it's a lot. So I got a lot of that. So, okay. Now, let's see. I ordered, they're not in here. Last video, I talked about lotion bars by Stacey Nash. I contacted Jeanette and ordered more of those. I also ordered, I already had this and the floss because Jeanette gave it to me for my birthday last year. And I was like, I want to start that, but I don't have fabric. So I asked her to send me some 28 count that I knew she had in her shop called Gunmetal by Weeks Dye Works. It's a 28 count linen. That way it's not black. Hold on. Crinkle. Sorry. It'll look so good though, like all these colors. So what this pattern is Liberty Pennies by Hands On Design. And she gave me the Pin Mini by, what is this called? Just Another Button Company, and then all the floss. So I was like, it's high time that I start this. So I asked her to send this to me, and then I got distracted. So, yeah, well, what are you going to do? Okay, so that is partially haul. I also bought some needles, which, is not very exciting, but I still bought some. Let's see what I have left. Okay, so I guess we're kind of I guess we'll do birthday things. No, because that kind of goes into books. So I'll do haul next. So, Cricklewood Crossing, she had a scissor fob sale, and my friend Megan makes scissor fobs too, but I decided that this one was so pretty that I had to have it, and I know she'll forgive me. So it's a patriotic one. It's really cute. Boop. Love it. So cute. I got some YLI thread for beading my Virgo, which I'm changing that partially, which once I finish it, you'll see why I changed it and what I did. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the rest of my haul. So when I was in Arizona, the first thing I did when I found out I was going there was to see if there was a quilt store. So I of course went. I dragged my sister there, and they had a lot of modern fabrics, but it was a lot of like Cape Facet, which I know I just made a quilt, which by the way I fully finished that. And it's going to be going to its owner probably in the fall because my mom is going to deliver that to her. But this is some Tilda fabric. This is Tilda. I don't know what line it's from, like what collection. And then the lady was really nice and folded everything nice. So this is a Tilda fabric, and this is a Tilda fabric, this pretty like daisy. And then this one is typewriters. This is from these two are from a collection together. I don't know what they are. If you have a question about them and want to know more about them, I can tell you the store that I got them from, and I can tell you what the SKU is, because I'll be able to check the selvage. But I don't want to do that right now because it's folded all pretty like, and I'm in the middle of a video, and so, you know, there's that. Okay, throw that on the ground. So this is something that I purchased a while ago, but I forgot to share it because I couldn't find my printout. So Teresa Kogut, she had it's like a fundraiser for her friend's son. His name is Lincoln, and she has the proceeds of this chart go directly to the funding for that child. I guess he has a cancer, or I'm fuzzy on the details right now, but it's one of those things that speaks to me, and it's a beautiful design. So I was like, of course I'll do that. 4-year-old grandson was diagnosed with cancer, and his name is Lincoln. And Lincoln's mom, who we are also very close with as our kids also grew up together, quit her job in order to stay home to care for Lincoln. This decision came easily. However, the financial loss at a time when medical bills are mounting has been difficult. I designed Hope and Love to help support this young family. All profits from this design go directly to them. So I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I just knew it was an immediate add to cart, and I purchased it as soon as I saw her Flosstube about it. I paused it and went on her website and did it. And I'll try and remember to link it below because I know that she's still selling this, I believe. I don't see why she wouldn't be. But she's also asking people use this hashtag, Lincoln Strong, for the fundraiser. Okay, let's see. I think that's all my technical haul. So now I'm going to talk about birthday presents. And I was very blessed this year. And I have good friends, and I have good family. I have a good family who spoiled me. So even though I wasn't home, I got to have carrot cake. That was nice. I found a carrot cake that I didn't have to make myself, and it didn't have raisins because that's not my idea of a good time. So, but I guess I will show, let's see, I'll show this first. So this is from my husband and sons. They just went onto 123 Stitch and decided to add stuff to the cart that they thought that I would like. And they did a good job. I was really pleased with everything I got. It was a delightful surprise. And my husband wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed to start a project. So he elected to do kits and to kit things. They sent needles. They sent, let's see. I need to turn this on. There we go. The light's fading a little bit. So I got this cool needle minder by My Big Toe. And it's Mosaic Waves. That's what it's called. And then All American by Primrose Cottage. And they also have they're really heavy needle minders, which I don't mind because I use a frame. And I don't really use them to I use them to hold things, obviously. But I'm not bothered if they're heavy. So the other thing I got was this Mill Hill Buttons and Beads, right? Is it Buttons and Beads? No, because this has Ada. But it's called Patriotic Quartet, Land of the Free. And there are 2 other ones that I think I have to hunt down, which are this one and this one. I need them. They're so cute. And my son picked out this Dimensions kit, and this is stamped August 2023, so it's probably still readily available. And again, this is off of 123 Stitch. And this one is called Flower Truck. I Got some sweet scissors that are buffalo plaid. That's awesome. Love those. They're going to go in my scissor holder there. This one is by Design Works. It's called Heartfelt. Heartfelt cross stitch kit, and it's called Give Thanks. And I thought that was really pretty. I think my youngest picked this one out for me. It's really pretty. I like it. And then my husband, there it is. My husband picked out, I had mentioned this chart to him before I went to Jeanette's market release party. And I almost bought this while I was at the party, but I had already spent so much money that I was like, nah, I'll wait. I can get it again later, you know, because I'm stitching all of these. So this is Farmers Market ABCs. So this is the new one that came out around market. I didn't buy this, right? I'm gonna have to look. Yeah, but this one's from him. But he also got me the fabric, the 32 count. It's 32 count linen in the color Vintage Country Mocha. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a tag and get it out of the plastic. And then he also got the threads. So the DMC and the Classic Colorworks that go with. So this is ready to go and I just have to start it. So that was a birthday gift from my family. And then in my last video, I mentioned the other gift that I got from my friend Megan. So she's family, just like friends that are family. And my other family, also known as my fellowship, they decided to spoil the crap out of me. So my best friend, Nina, she got me Betsy's House by Plum Street Samplers. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And it's not that big. Right? Where's the stitch count? Am I blind? It's 98 by 90. So it's under 100 by 100. It's not big. I mean, the grass in the house, that's going to be some intense stitching. But I'm here for it. Actually, it's almost full coverage. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, well, actually... But I don't care. I love it. And I saw this design on, I don't know where I was at. I don't know what I was doing. But I was like, oh, how did I have never seen that before? I mean, this is how old it is. It's in the old school big pamphlet thing. So, is there a year on this? It doesn't matter. And then, oh, and it has a history about who Betsy Ross is. And who she actually was. And then she also got me the floss that goes with it, the called for floss. And I, of course, have plenty of fabric, so I'm not worried about that situation. So I was very pleased to have that arrive in the mail. And let's see. This is not a present, but I think there's stuff in here. Nope. I lied. There's nothing in here. This is a different thing. To the box of WIPS over there. Okay, so this is a bag by Bella Rose Needleworks. Well, okay, it's a stitch bag that is like that is made by Bella Rose Needleworks. And it's Pride and Prejudice theme. Here comes another vehicle that's loud. Sorry. And she had these cute charms. And this is a Mr. Darcy quote. My other one that I just threw over here is I love Mr. Darcy. And it has this pretty blue fabric. So this bag was from Jeanette. She mailed this. And she also mailed me this super cute kit by Les Secrets de Marie. And they're like, they're French. American sheep. And it's got like this thimble, wood thimble thing that you stitch on. And it has all the floss. So I was so excited to get this. I was like, oh, how cute is that? Like, and it's a small. So that's from Jeanette. And then she also got me this cute Stitchy Pros Bee needle minder. By the way, I love Stitchy Pros. I love the people behind Stitchy Pros. They're really great people. So this is by Willoughby Ann. It's called Roberta. Get it? Ribbit. Roberta. So punny. So she sent me the bag. So this needle, this cross stitch bag, and then these things for my birthday. And then also she mailed me all of my stuff and didn't charge me shipping because she was sending this stuff. So this is actually part of, oh, she also gave me a really nice card. And the this is also technically haul, but so I'm part of her Belle Soie of the Month Club. So this is the March packet. And these are the silks by Classic Colorworks. So it comes every month. There's 3 colors, and the colors for March, I guess the April ones haven't come out yet, or they're coming out. Weathered Vine, Cake, and Kiwi. Those are the 3 colors, but they're green. Everything's moving. It's starting to get windy. And then these are the new Belle Soie colors that came out at Market. Heirloom Lace and Midnight, which are like, they're pretty, let me just take them out. I have to take them out anyways. They're pretty blue color. They're probably getting washed out. Maybe if I put it on a board. Maybe. You can kind of see them there. They're really dark. I mean, it's called Midnight, right? So let me flip that around. So Heirloom Lace and Midnight. It's like a really dark blue that reads black in some lights, but it's really dark. And this beautiful Heirloom Lace color. And I love stitching with the Belle Soies. They're really nice to work with. I highly recommend them if you haven't tried them before. They're worth it. And they are 5-yard skeins, but they are 12 strands. So get a lot for your money. They are more per skein, obviously, because they're silk. But if you're interested in these, I believe Jeanette still has these available on her website. Okay, and then in this bag that Jeanette gave me, houses my present from my friend Laura. And this goes hand in hand with the fact that we are going to, as a group, we're going to be all starting a Jane Austen-esque piece, or work on one, or something that has to do with Jane Austen, because this year, 2025, is her 250th birthday. So as a nod to her, I really wanted to stitch this piece by Plum Street Samplers called A Gentleman's Daughter. And this is from Pride and Prejudice. I am aware that there's more books besides Pride and Prejudice, but I really like that design. I'm thinking I'm going to stitch this on a dark gray, because the color that it calls for is Nantucket Brew, 36 count. And apparently that's a unicorn at the moment. So I'm probably going to stitch it on, what's that gray? I can't remember. It's a Fox and Rabbit. You guys are screaming it at me. So these are, and she got me all the floss for it. Because it's actually, it has to be a gray color because this house is white, right? And look at all that grass. But at least the grass is like, it's like a fun geometric design. At least there's that, right? Because otherwise it'd just be like forever green, right? So I am housing my Plum Street Samplers stitch in the bag that Jeanette got me. I thought it was fitting and perfect. And I don't think they coordinated. I don't think. But, so that was my birthday presents. That was cross stitch. So now I'm going to get into things that are not cross stitch, like books. So if that is something that you're not interested in seeing, because it's not your thing, you don't like reading or you don't want to see that, that's cool. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you are interested in seeing all the books that I got, because it's excessive, stick around because it's good times. Do you like my Hufflepuff? Because I'm a Hufflepuff. This is by Simply Modern. It's a 40-ounce one. It's giant. But that way I drink enough water. Okay. So in the last video, I think I was waiting for this book to come, or I just started reading it. Don't remember. However, before this video comes out, I will have posted a video about a cross-stitch kit that I got from Leanne Ross over at Forbidden Fiber Co. that is themed for this book. So if you go give that a watch, I appreciate it. And if you could share it and like it and all the things, I really appreciate that. But this is a book that I finished, and the way it ended, I was like, it's a great, if you're interested in the books and you get emotionally attached to characters, this is the book for you. Unless you're not. Like, unless, maybe it's not. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You'll like the book if you like the other books. Okay, so now I am going to be grabbing stacks because, oh my word in heaven, y'all. So let's start with my current read, shall we? Let me move all of this over so I can easily reach it. Okay, because I have to be able to put things somewhere. And right now, you should see what, you know, when you film a video, when you film a Flosstube, it's a production, y'all. You have to like have places to put things when you're not talking about it so it doesn't get ruined, or your dog won't eat it, or you have the trash, like the extra little like trash thing from like, I have a pile of trash right there of like empty spent things. Anyways, okay, so when I was in Arizona, there was a little bookstore, and I wouldn't say little, it was a private bookstore called Peregrine Books. And that store was magical. It had everything. It had new things, it had old things. It was limited because it's a small store and it's not Amazon, right? But it's also not a Barnes and Noble. So when you go there, they have like the ones that are bestsellers that everybody's looking for. They had a section of banned books. They had a section for, I mean, all sorts of things. Now, I remembered to look at my request, my books that of my list of books that I want to purchase when I was in there. So I didn't go crazy because, I mean, I went crazy, but like in a way where I was like, oh yeah, I want to read that book. Oh yeah, I want to read that book. Okay. So I went there on my birthday. I purchased 1984. I am currently reading it. I am 32 pages in, and wow. Already I'm like, what am I reading right now? This is crazy pants. I'll let you know how I like it when I'm finished in the next book, or in the next, what am I saying? Next video. I got this at Walmart. It's called Grace for Today, and it is a daily 1-minute devotional. So it takes you a minute to read a passage of scripture, an explanation, and a prayer. And I really needed that when I was at my mom's house. So I picked that up. I got a pocket of the Constitution of the United States because it's important for you to know the Constitution if you are an American. So I picked this up. While I was at my mom's, I also picked this up. This is also on my birthday. This is an Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. It is an official authorized edition. So there are some that are not authorized, I guess. And this is an official authorized edition. I love this book. It was so good. I had never seen the movie. I know that there's movies. There's 2 or 3 movies out there that are based off this book. I have not watched any of them because I knew it was based off a book. And I still never bought it. And then finally, I was like, okay, let me look at my list of books I want to get. This will not be the last book I read of Agatha Christie because I really enjoyed the character, Hercule Poirot. I think that's how you say it. Probably butchered it, sorry, but it was great. So I read this one. After I finished Sunrise on the Reaping, I finished that. And then I finished this one. On my birthday, I also purchased Lisa C. Lady Tan Circle of Women. And I love Lisa C. books. I think she is a very talented writer. Snowflower and the Secret Fan, like that was the book that kind of made her really famous. And then I've read China Dolls. I purchased China Dolls and I got like a chapter in and then I had to move and then I got lost in books, boxes of books, and then I never picked it back up again. So that is going to be a reread. It's in my that canister. So I'm going to be adding this into my canister as well to read. So I don't know anything about it. It has great reviews though. And if it's a Lisa C, I'm probably going to like it because I've read many of her books and I always enjoy them. So Lisa C. This is also a banned book that I picked up at Peregrine Books, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And this was recommended to me, recommended to people in general to read along with 1984. So this is something that I will be reading also. The next book I purchased was The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder by C.L. Miller. And there is a sequel or a book 2 of this that had just been released within the last couple months. So I figure that if I really like this book, then I will purchase the hardcover of the other one, thrift books this one, and get the hardcover of this. So that way I have hardcovers because I prefer hardcovers over paperbacks. Okay, so what else did I buy that day? There's other things. Okay, so then other book haul. So I had to mail all these FedEx home. Well, most of these. So Jennifer Chiaverini, this is an Elm Creek Quilts book, which I think I spoke about in my last video that I knew I was going to be purchasing. The World's Fair Quilt. This book, I finished it. It's amazing. I loved it. You have to enjoy quilting to enjoy this, but it's historical. But it is also heavily woven into the main character, which I really enjoyed. And I liked that it was what it was supposed to be. And I really enjoyed it. And I recommend it. If you have not read an Elm Creek Quilts book and you are a quilter, I would highly recommend it. I think this year is an anniversary for the Quilter's Apprentice, which is book 1. I highly recommend picking that up. It's a really good book. And then you can read all 27 or however many there are. Let's look, shall we? Let's see. So these are all the Elm Creek Quilt novels right here. So these are all of them right here. And I have all of them. And I have the companion books and I have the pattern books that were also released with them. I'm trying to put books that I have not read in one pile and other books to put away in another pile. Okay, so I was at the grocery store and this was in like a for sale cheap book thing. It was a bargain book. I don't know if it's any good, but I thought it was interesting. Two Wars and a Wedding. And I think it takes place in 1896 and 1898. I just thought, this looks interesting. Why not? And I like the cover. It looked interesting to me. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. I am a fan of thrift books. If you are not familiar with thrift books, I recommend that. They have an app. It's a great way to get hardcover books for cheap if you don't mind them not all looking pristine. Now, there's specific books that I like to have them be pristine, and I will purchase new on those ones. But other ones, if I'm just wanting to read something to see if I like the book or not, then I buy things used. Like, it's like a used bookstore online. So this is a biography about Esther Williams called The $1 Million Mermaid. This was like a used, graded good. It's missing the dust jacket, which I was super bummed about. But it's cool. I mean, you know, like the pages are nice. You can tell that they literally took the cover off and have it there as like decor. Like they probably didn't actually read it, because the binding is in pretty good condition. And it has shelfware, like it was meant to be like one of those color bookshelves. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I have that one. I like biographies. I also purchased David McCullough, 1776, which I purchased this also on Thrift Books. I think I got this for $5. And there's a paper in here. I don't know. Mystery. A mystery for sure. But anything that has to do with the Revolutionary War and America's founding and all that, I love that kind of stuff. So I got that one. Now, I'm going to talk about, before I get to the final set of books that I am just so jazzed about. I should probably go get the other ones. Okay. So I like, sorry, I'm shaking the table. I like quilt, obviously I'm a quilter, but like I really like quilt pattern books. I like quilt pattern books, especially if they are done well and they have beautiful photographs. I saw this one where I don't know if I was just searching on Thrift Books and I happened to see this cover quilt and I was like, wow, that's really pretty. And like I was looking at this and I'm like, you know, all that pretty fabric that I got from my friend Pam's estate would make beautiful quilts out of here. And they have one for each month. So there's some that are themed for each month, which is really cute. And the one for March is the cover quilt. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. But I needed to get free shipping. So I bought this book for, I think it was like $4 instead of paying $10 in shipping, or $20 or however much it was. So I bought this book and then they paid my shipping. And it's, I don't know, I like quilt books, so yeah, it's a good place to find out of print books too. This is an out of print book called Civil War Women. That is by Barbara Brackman, who is a quilt historian. And this one is talking about antique Civil War quilts from both the North and South, I believe, and talking about the story of the women who made them and why they made them. So I love that. I love anything that has to do with historical books, like historical quilt books. Okay, now back to the World Fair quilt book. This is fiction. However, the World's Fair quilt show of 1933, from the World's Fair of 1933, there was an actual contest put on by Sears and Roebuck, which is what this story is based off of, which is actually talked about in previous novels in the series, but they don't really expand on it at all. They expand on it here, which is great. But this particular novel had source material, and I was able to find the source material, both of which are out of print. Thrift Books to the rescue. So patchwork souvenirs of the 1933 World's Fair. So it has photographs and information about the people that made the quilts and about the quilters themselves. And this was the one that actually won. This is a replica because the replica was actually given to Eleanor Roosevelt, and the whereabouts of the quilt is missing. Wouldn't we all like to know where that quilt is? I know I would. So I picked up this one from Thrift Books, and it is by Mary Kay Waldvogel and Barbara Brackman, who also did this book. Okay. Now, Mary Kay Waldvogel also wrote this book, which is called Soft Covers for Hard Times. Quilt making and the Great Depression, because 1933, the Great Depression, all the things, right? So it talks about how people, the different quilts that were made, things that were important back then, all that sort of stuff. And it's source material for this fictional book. But as a quilter, I find this stuff fascinating because it's about women, because women are primarily the ones who make quilts. Not to say dudes can't make quilts, because I know a few that probably do, and they're great quilters. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that historically it has been a women's pastime, which is also why it wasn't always taken as seriously as it probably is today. And even today, some people don't take it seriously. Oh, it's a blanket. No, it's not a blanket. Don't say that to a quilter. That's rude. Anyways, I digress. So I picked up those used quilt books. Now, I'm going to pause and I'm going to go grab something, because you're about to see something amazing, especially if you like Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm back. Not that you even noticed, because I paused it. Okay, so I'm about to tell you a little story time about back when I was like 19 and I worked at a bookstore. If you're older like me, you will have heard of B. Dalton Books, which is basically a small version of Barnes & Noble. They are all closed now. They do not exist. But it was meant to be like a more personable, smaller bookstore that usually were in malls. So I worked at a B. Dalton, and later I worked at Borders. But we won't talk about that. That wasn't fun. Anyways, while I worked at B. Dalton, it was probably one of the best jobs I ever had in my entire life. It was so fun. I got to be around books. I got to sell books to people and explain why I liked a book. I got kids to read books and come back and get more books like that they wanted me to recommend to them. Which is like amazing. And I thought for half a second I was going to be a teacher, but then I ended up not doing that, and now I homeschool. So I guess I kind of am a teacher, aren't I? Anyways, one of the things about Barnes & Noble, the current store, is they have a bargain section, right? And at the time when I worked there, we would get a lot of random bargain books sent to us from the distributor that is Barnes & Noble, and who's in charge of that, right? And these books came, but I was hoping that they were going to send the third one, but they never did. But this was when I was like 19 to 21, 22, 21. I don't even remember. It was like around that time. I worked there for like 3 years, and it was amazing. I met great people there. I'm still friends with some of them. But one of the things that was on the bargain table, was this illustrated edition of J.R.R. Tolkien, Fellowship of the Ring. And this is illustrated by Alan Lee. So if you are in any way a Lord of the Rings person, and you are familiar with the art behind Lord of the Rings or Tolkien in general, you know who Alan Lee is, because he has a very specific style. So this book, I was like, oh, rad, I'm going to get that, right? Had my discount. I was able to use it on bargain books. So I bought this book, I think for like, it was bargain. So it was like it It's under $20. Okay, this is retail was $27.50, so it was probably like $12, and I got it for like $7, okay, at the time. So this was in like early 2000s. Okay, so I picked this one up, and then the next paycheck, because I was poor and I was in college, you know, I couldn't just buy things all the time like I do now. They also had The Return of the King. So this is part 3 of the trilogy of The Lord of the Rings. So I was hoping that The Two Towers, which is part 2, would eventually come through the bargain section, but it never did. Not that I found. And from what I understand, these particular books were usually sold in a box set that was extremely expensive, especially for the time. And so people just like didn't purchase them. So they like dismantled the books, and some of them are still in print now. Like you can get some of them off of Amazon now, but like it's kind of hit or miss. Okay. But the ISBN, so like the book number, is still active on some of these books that I'm about to show you. Now, I have been carrying these with me and packing them from house to house to house to house. So college to apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment, moving to Idaho, and then moving into this house that I live in now. Okay, like many moves over many years. Okay. And so it was probably 2002, 2001 when I bought these books. Okay. I've been making sure that I keep them because I was like, I will find the other book, right? Well, I didn't find The Two Towers, but while I was at Peregrine Books on my birthday, I happened to see this edition, and it was way up high on the top shelf. And it is The Hobbit. And it is illustrated by Alan Lee. And I was like, okay, is this the same from the same series as the other one? I hope so, because, I wasn't sure, but I wanted this book regardless. So my mom actually purchased this for me for my birthday. So this is from my mom. Okay. So I'm going to put them so you can see. So that's what they look like, the spines. Okay. I also saw while I was there that they did not have The Two Towers, because The Two Towers apparently is out of print. But Fellowship of the Ring and The Return of the King are not out of print. I don't know. Publishers are weird. So they do weird stuff sometimes, and sometimes they have books go out of print so they can reprint them. And then they like have like new forwards in them and stuff like that. And so they can change the price. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But they had this also next to The Hobbit, the Silmarillion. And this is illustrated, not by Alan Lee though. It's illustrated by Ted Naismith. And I paid retail for these because I don't care. And they're like, no one has ever opened them. Like some of the pages are stuck together. Oh, it's so good. Oh. Y'all. So then it got me going, because then I'm like, okay, I got to find the staying book, right? So I look on eBay. I look, on Abe Books. I look on Thrift Books. I look everywhere, and I can't find the book for under like $100. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. So then I was like, I know sometimes Amazon has used books, so I wonder if they have it. So I did a little search on Amazon. Y'all, it's been there the whole time. Here it is. And it's part of this is the second in the series. And it's illustrated by Alan Lee. It's, I even checked, I did the Google, and I checked the ISBN, which is like the little number that's on the back right here, okay? So on all books, and it's either going to be 10 digits or 13 digits, depending on how old the book is. This is not old enough. Is it 12? No. is it 12 or 13? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I was like, wow, they actually have it. And it was retail, but I was worried about the whole like shipping from Amazon, because sometimes they're not great when they send books and things can arrive damaged. And these books, I wanted to be in decent, almost mint condition. And it arrived, and it's got a little snafu on the spine, but you know what? I don't even care. Because I've been looking for this book for 20 years. Over 20 years. I've been looking for this book for 23 years. And it's been on Amazon this whole freaking time. At least as of now. So I own it. Now I have all of the books. So I will take a photograph so that I'm not like killing myself trying to hold all these books. But I will take a photograph of all of the books so you can see them. But this is what the original trilogy looks like on the, like sitting on a shelf with the spines. Now I have all of them. I am so excited. And if they weren't so darn heavy, I'd put them there, but I really don't want to kill my shelf. So anyways, all right. So that is all my book stuff too, right? Yeah. So if you've stuck around this long and you're interested in anything I showed, or you have questions about any of the books I showed or any of the cross stitch, please feel free to send me a comment on this video. Or if you want to email me, you can do that. My email's in the description below. Or if you want to send me a message on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on there, on the Instagrams. But if you made it this far, I think we should play a game. I think that you guys should use a book emoji in your comment and tell me what book you're reading right now, or what is the last book you read, or and that includes audiobooks or whatever, or if you're not a big reader, totally cool. What are you stitching right now? I would be very interested to know. And then if you could put your put a book emoji in your comments, there might be something fun that comes from that. We don't know. We don't know. I'm not sure when I'm going to film next, because again, everything's kind of weird right now. But are you going to start barking? Okay. Well, thank you so much for sticking with me and hanging out with me and enjoying all the things I've showed today. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.